Right now, get up to 3.49% APR for 48 months.
Remember this? Last spoke to our advisor, and our Vanguard investments are on track. We got this. So go do what you love. Thanks for being our superhero.
You're more than just an investor. You're an owner, giving you flexibility to follow your dreams. That's the value of ownership.
Accidents don't just happen 9 to 5. They happen when you least expect it. Night.
Oh, man. Jazz lose at home on a back-to-back. The first back-to-back that has been home on both games. Will Hardy gets his first technical foul, and rightfully so, in my opinion. I actually wish that he would have got ejected in that situation. Clarkson goes up for – it almost looked like he was going for a dunk. Got hit on the arm, and that wasn't called. And then Nurkic falls on top of him, hits him in the body, and falls on top of him, and just about murders Clarkson. And Jazz Twitter was going off, and it seemed like after that point, the refs kind of controlled the game. I usually never say that about refs because like a game like this, you have to toughen up. Like this was, to me, a game that you really could have used Jay Crowder because I've talked about him. He came to mind, but it's more of like a playoff game where you've got to learn how to play through contact. The thing that I struggle with is it didn't seem fair. Oh, here's Hardy. Let's go to him first because let's see if he's just pissed off too.
A lack of aggressiveness. Simons obviously got into a very good rhythm early. He's a terrific player. He's hard enough to guard. And I just don't think from the beginning of the game we did a good enough job picking him up and getting into the ball. I give our guys credit. They dug in the second half, really competed on both ends. Down the stretch, didn't make enough plays. I thought there was a pocket there. It was like 99, 94, 99, 96, maybe it was early 90s, where we got some really good looks for our bench and they just didn't go. But that's life in the NBA. You have to come out from the very beginning and try to set the tone. It doesn't matter that it's the second night of a back-to-back. They came out with an aggressiveness and a physicality that we didn't. But I'll give our guys credit for responding and playing very, very hard in the second half.
It's the second time we're in a position where you maybe could have had the team foul intentionally to preserve a little more clock and be down 3, and you decided to instead kind of take your chances on the possession and wind up fouling. That's what you're thinking in that scenario.
I thought we executed that one fine. We got the ball out of Simon's hands.
No, you didn't.
And didn't foul their best free throw shooter.
Not in my opinion.
6.5 seconds is plenty of time in the NBA to get off a 3 ball. I don't want to run up and just foul with 26 on the clock when their best player has it. I thought we did a good job of hitting and getting it out of his hands and sped up Jerami Grant. And once he got around, I think it was Vando, he took the foul. I thought that one was executed the way that we want to.
Congratulations on your first technical.
Yeah, it should have been 2. I should have gotten thrown out. That play was gross. I'm happy that Jordan's not hurt. Not that it was a dirty play. I don't think there was any intent for it to be dirty, but when a guy goes up in the air and lands on his back going for a dunk, you would hope that one gets called. But, again, that's life in the NBA. I'll have to rethink my Christmas shopping.
Obviously, on the last play where Jordan's getting a beeline call for him and then gets the ball stripped, I guess, what were you looking for in that situation?
I was looking for the ball to get exactly where it went, and then instead of him getting stripped, I was hoping that he would get the ball above his head and shoot it. I thought the guys executed it pretty well. They caught Lauri's slip to the corner well. We tried to get Lauri with some momentum downhill and then slip out to the corner. So Kelly had 2 reads. He had the long pass over the top and Jordan coming back. I thought the guys executed it. Those plays are, those moments, it's hard to get a naked look at the end of the game. Portland guarded it well, but, that's Jordan coming left, right, a shot that he's very good at. The pass was delivered on target. They made a great defensive play. So, you can always look back at little things in a game. I thought we had a weird play at 35 seconds where the ball popped out of Lauri's hands and ended up in the backcourt. There's just unfortunate moments that can happen late in the game. But, when we look back at this game, we'll examine the first half far more than we'll examine those moments at the end. I think we executed the foul the way we wanted to. We executed the last play the way we wanted to. But if you leave yourself in that situation, anything can happen. It's hard to play from behind under 30 seconds left in a game. So the guys were locked in. They executed what we wanted to. We just put ourselves way behind the curve, giving up 40 in the first quarter.
There were a few shots that Simons made that were pretty tough, over pretty good defense, but what would you have liked to have done better, maybe not on those ones?
Yeah, 4 of his first threes, the guy guarding him was either at the 3-point line or under it. He's a very, very elite scorer, and he can really score in bunches. So our pickup points getting into the ball to start were not good. And if you let a great scorer like that see 3 or 4 go in, you can be at his mercy. There were for sure 5 or 6 shots that he made where you just shake his hand and say, hey, man, you're pretty good. But the ones early helped him get into his rhythm. I thought in the second half we did a much better job of making him work really hard. He made some tough 2s over guys, but those are shots that we're always going to be willing to live with.
Joined by Big T Thurl Bailey calling the game tonight with Craig Bolerjack, and we were just commenting, talking about Anfernee Simons, who now 5 years in the league, straight out of IMG Academy. But I remember when he came in the league, he looked so young. Even when he won the dunk contest.
All right, so I'm going to go first and just get my thoughts out and then let you guys go. But listening to that and just the demeanor of Coach, you could tell he was pissed off. He handled himself well. Whoever asked the question, congratulations on getting your first tech. Considering how he got the tech, I don't know. Media's just drives me insane sometimes. So just, the thing I have a problem with in this game is it didn't feel like it was being called the same way, especially with the call on Clarkson on Simons, where Simons really looked like he pushed off. And then you've got the other one where Markkanen dribbles it off of his foot kind of, but you got Nurkic basically leaning into him and they don't call that. Despite the fouls or the refs and all of that, I want to talk about the game because we had a chance to win the game, in my opinion. And again, there was a question in that press conference with coach, just barely. Again, you choose not to foul, but it's not even about that in my mind. There's 35 seconds left. We get a stop. Markkanen is bringing the ball up, which he shouldn't be. You've got 2 timeouts. You're up by 1 point with 35 seconds left. Why not call timeout? Especially with him dribbling the ball up at the top. If you can call a timeout, run the clock down till the last second and score, you've won the game. Olynyk's laying down on the ground. Coach looks back and doesn't call a timeout still. So you plan on going, 4-on-5? The last 35 seconds. And that's where we didn't score. From that point on, we didn't score. There was another game where coach didn't call a timeout and then also didn't foul. We could have fouled early on in the clock, but we waited all the way till 6 seconds to foul. Just doesn't make sense to me. I feel like it's mismanaged by coach in those important seconds ticking down. So those are the thoughts I wanted to get out. I'm sure you guys have thoughts on different plays and different stats throughout the game, but who wants to go first? Go ahead and request, and I will let you go. We also shot 36% from the 3, only made 13, shot 36 total attempts, but 36%. Kevin, I'm going to go to you first. Go ahead, man.
What's up, Jordan? Definitely rough game. The refs struggled to do their jobs tonight, but it was impressive that despite that, we still hit some big shots down the stretch. I kind of see where you're coming from with the mismanagement at the end of the game, but I just think it's so much easier to say hindsight, because if he does call a timeout and we chase the game and they make all their free throws and we miss our shots and we still lose, then do we say, man, I wish we just tried to play defense for 24 seconds and just trusted our defense and taken our chances? Because I've heard the flip side. And I think in the moment, it's a tougher decision. I think it's much easier for us to say on the flip side, because, if we play defense and we hold for 24 seconds and they don't score, then we put ourselves in a really good position. So I just think it's one of those things that can go either way. And I think it's really easy to make that judgment after the fact because it didn't work. Kind of my thought.
Yeah. I feel like it's the second time that's happened this season. And so we've lost both games where, we have the lead. We seem out of sorts offensively, especially when you've got Markkanen being the point guard. I guess if coach trusts him enough to run the point, I don't think he's ran the point the whole year. So at least call a timeout, and you don't even have to run the 24 seconds down, but at least get a decent shot. We don't even get a shot. We're up by 1, 35 seconds, 2 timeouts, and we get a backcourt violation. And honestly, shouldn't even have been a backcourt because Kelly Olynyk didn't touch it, and the refs messed that one up too. But it could have been a fast break the other way for 2 points. But yeah, I just think you call the timeout there, you get a good shot, and if you miss a good attempt, then you live with it. But hitting on good attempts.
I say if your guys know what to do and you trust them, you don't need the timeout. And I think he's a young coach trying to build trust with his team, and I think that trusting those guys in this situation, win or lose, is, we talked about this, it's big for the psyche. I think showing that you trust them there is a big thing. I don't know.
Yeah, but he did trust him and it didn't work. We got a backcourt violation. So it's. But
I watch a lot of NBA games where they do play the foul game and they do call the timeouts and they still lose. Like, there's a lot of teams out there that play that strategy and they're still losing. They're losing a majority of the time.
Well, and it could be my opinion that I guess if I was coach, that's what I would have done is called the timeout and got a good shot. Maybe there's statistics to back up not calling a timeout. I have no clue, but I just feel like this loss would have been a little easier to swallow had he called a timeout and we get a good shot. But as far as good attempts as well, I felt like we got really good shot attempts. There were a few bad ones. It happens, but we just weren't knocking some of them down. I mean, Beasley had that one in the corner where he sat there forever and totally missed it. Beasley, went 1 for 6 from the 3-point line and 1 for 9. So that makes a huge difference when one of your best shooters shoots 11% from the field and 16% from the 3-point line. Let me get to another speaker real quick. Let's go. I believe Armani was next. So let me get you on. Go ahead, Armani. Breathe, bro.
So I have about 4 questions for everybody. I don't even really want to talk. I just have 4 questions for y'all to discuss. 1, are y'all not tired of JC taking so many shots?
He took 26 shots, shot 38% from the field, and took 9 threes. And JC also shot only 11% from the 3.
Right. So are we not tired of JC taking so many threes? I mean, taking so many shots. 1. 2, early in the game, within the first 4 minutes, Lauri had 7 points. He got to the free throw line for majority of his points.
9 points from the free throw. Yeah, 9 points. He made all 9, or 9 free throws, made all 9.
So why is there a focus on us not getting to the free throw line via just Lauri himself? Cool. I don't care if I don't personally care if Lauri's the lead scorer or anything like that. It's just that he puts us in better positions of scoring because he's the most versatile scorer. Cool. No problem. Why did Walker not play around 20 minutes?
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
At least 20. He played 16. When he was on the court, he had a lot of rim protection out there. We had a lob threat. He was rebounding decently. It's not like he was in foul trouble. Why is he not on the court? Like, I don't get it.
Yeah, I don't get it either. And we'll dive into that more too. What are your other questions? These are good ones.
When
will Hardy call a timeout?
Right. Yeah,
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
No. It's really what I wanted to say. It's kind of what I wanted to say. Like, in the fourth quarter, why do we why do we not slow the game down?
Yeah.
Especially when we have a lead in the fourth quarter.
Well, and part of that, I think, is Sexton's running the point a majority of the time. I think he does a good job, but when the crowd gets excited and we need someone to slow it down, like definitely miss Conley in those moments. Sexton seems to get a little too excited as well.
That's one thing I did. That's the one big gripe I had throughout this entire game is Colin Sexton had a little bit too much energy in his game. Good thing, but at times it can get nasty. Where there was like a couple possessions where he just ran. He tried to drive and he's taking too much time off the clock.
See it
right back out to the 3-point line. Throws a weird pass to somebody who has no, that don't have enough time to really get a shot off. It just gets weird sometimes with Colin Sexton.
Yeah, and I feel like we've got THT for moments like that, but I guess if one player plays the entire game, you're hesitant to take him out and play a different player that's maybe cold. But yeah, I feel you on that one.
And where was Noah?
Yeah, he didn't play tonight.
That's who needed to be guarding on Simons.
Yeah, he's got good defense.
There was times where there was I don't understand where THT, he's great on the ball. That's his best defensive attribute, I'll be honest with you. Especially playing in front of the screens. Why when he's on the court is Jared Vanderbilt guarding Simons in
Man,
that first half?
I feel like Vanderbilt is fooling all of us with his defense because his defensive efficiency is not that good, and
he's a sloppy defensive player.
it's terrible. Like he can't stay in front of the ball, and when he's not on the ball, he's completely lost.
His best attribute on defense is just the fact of him playing so chaotic.
Yeah.
He's a very chaotic player.
Attribute is that he has a prototypical body.
He's athletic.
Right. You're right.
That's what everybody sees. Like, oh my gosh, he's got the long wingspan. He's athletic. This dude should be a defensive player every single game. But he ain't got what he needs between his ears to take.
Dude, he's so soft.
To the next level.
He's so soft. Anytime he gets touched, he just falls over. Anyways, let's grab some other guys to get in this conversation. I'm gonna go over to thanks for sharing, Armani. I'm gonna go over to the Big D Orcut. Did you change your name again? Captain Chaos? Here we go. You're on, buddy.
Captain Chaos is crazy.
Captain Chaos.
Hey,
what up?
I'll start off by saying Colin Sexton, I thought he's been running the team pretty well the last few games, but tonight he has 0 assists. I don't know if that's just guys not hitting shots.
And to defend him a little bit, I'll just run his stats and then you can finish. He led the team in plus minus. He was pretty efficient from the field, shot 54%, 11 shots, got 19 points, got to the free throw line 3 times, 5 for 6, and then shot 50% from the 3-point line. So, I mean, he was one of the more efficient players, but in those crunch moments, I think we're so used to Mike slowing it down that it really stands out.
Yeah, and to his credit, I guess he only had 1 turnover, so it's not too glaring of a.
Can I just jump in there real fast? I wanted to talk about this because there's something that really frustrated me today. Everybody was ball watching when he had the ball, and it was driving me nuts. Like, he had nowhere to pass the ball because outside of Markkanen, nobody wanted to move. I want to kill Olynyk because the minute Sexton got the ball, he didn't want to go screen. He didn't want to roll off the ball. It was so frustrating. So it didn't surprise me that he didn't get any assists because nobody wanted to do anything when he had the damn ball.
See, and this for me, this is part of the problem of Olynyk and Kessler. I feel like Kessler actually moves more than Olynyk, and he just spaces the floor differently than Olynyk does.
Sorry to cut you off, big guy.
We fall into this trap of just shooting threes. And tonight, our 3 best 3-point shooters, Olynyk was 33%, which he's usually like 50%. Clarkson's 11% and Beasley's 16% from the 3. So at some point, this team's got to realize, like, all right, we need to drive. But I also had the thought, maybe they're not driving because these guys aren't giving them the call. Like after that Clarkson no call, it seemed like we were even more hesitant to drive. But Down, go ahead. Sorry, we totally took your time.
No, it's all good. I appreciate it, actually. I would say, I don't know. There was, I think, 2 or 3 possessions where Markkanen had the ball going down, and I don't know if he just looked lost and didn't know what to do with the ball. And granted, he does like slash the basket pretty well, but usually that's not like maybe 1 or 2 dribbles, not handling the ball all the way down the court.
I think there's a situation where he's never been put in the situation on this team because every time he tries to bring the ball up the court, somebody is trying to call for the ball. So now it's the one fucking possession, that he gets that he actually takes the ball all the way up the court.
Yeah, and
he's stuck at the half court line, and nobody's coming to get the ball.
Yeah, Sexton, or it was Clarkson right behind him. Nobody came, but it's almost like we were expecting a timeout.
That's what should have, honestly, that's really what should have happened at the point of him being met at the half court line.
Yeah.
And no guard coming to get the ball because Kelly was taking too long to
come
back.
Olynyk's not even up the floor. He barely got off the floor on the other end.
We needed a call or something needed to happen. Colin or JC, as much as I got tired of JC just having the ball in his hand.
Right.
Yeah.
He could have at least came and got the ball.
And that's where we missed Mike, because Mike would have called the damn timeout, whether coach wanted it or not. Like Mike would have just been like timeout, and that's where like that's where I get really frustrated with Markkanen, where it's like it's really hard for me to just see him as the next guy, because like he has to realize as the leader on this team that if coach ain't calling it and it needs to be called, he needs to call the effing timeout. Like if he takes the ball and ball up the court and none of his damn guards want the ball, he needs to call a timeout.
Yeah.
And he needs to get in the huddle and he needs to rip him a new one.
Yeah, it's just the feel of it, that possession. It just felt
just
weird.
Not to cut you off, but even in that situation, it'll be hard for him to actually be the one to call the timeout. Because he's better than half court line.
You're right. He couldn't, but you're right. But I'm just frustrated because he seems so mellow sometimes. It just frustrates me.
Yeah, he's too. I'll say this about Lauri, and everybody calls me the Lauri apologist. My one gripe with Lauri is he's very it's not that he's passive aggressive. It's just that he goes with the flow.
Yeah.
In the way that coach works,
he doesn't want to rock the boat.
He's an extreme relationship guy.
Yeah.
So coach loves JC. So anything that JC is going to go, anything that JC says, he's going to go. Coach respects Conley. He doesn't just love it. He doesn't love Conley like he has a love for JC. He respects Conley because Conley's his entire NBA past. With Lauri is just cool. He doesn't have. It doesn't seem like he has like a great relationship with coaches. Just like, okay, cool, all right, cool. We're just good.
Yeah, and Sarah Todd wrote an article today and posted it on Twitter about Lauri Markkanen being the number one for the Utah Jazz. I believe she writes for Deseret or KSL. Deseret, and I commented and I was like, Clarkson's going to be a number one before Lauri does. And tonight proved it. Like he just doesn't have the mentality to do it.
I have to disagree because the reason I say that is that there's an overemphasis on guard offense in this offense. If you notice, every guard who touches the ball has a green light.
Yeah, Clarkson shot 26 shots tonight.
Every guard has a green light. If you're a guard on the court, you have the green light to take whatever.
Yeah, and then everyone else just stands around and watches because they know they got the damn green lights.
Yeah.
Because when I looked at some of the players' charts earlier today, on the play type of where they get the shots at. Lauri, majority of his shots is from the spot up. Kelly, majority of his shots is from the spot up. Well, basically just about everybody's shots is coming from spot up, except for THT, JC, Noah, and Conley.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of things that could have gone differently, but
pardon me, Sexton too.
We've got Calvin requesting to speak, so I'm going to let him jump in on the conversation. Calvin, hang on. I'm going to read the comments real quick and then hop to you. So give me just a second. One of them is Calvin with the net ratings. Colin Sexton's net rating is 14, then Lauri at 9, Jared Vanderbilt at 5. Simone at 4, Kelly Olynyk at 1, Clarkson -7, Walker Kessler -24, Malik Beasley -32, and Taylor Horton Tucker -33. Those are crazy to look at. Utah Az says, if it was backcourt, I think they would have challenged it. It was pretty clear in my opinion, unfortunately. Yeah, I think the whistle blew before Kelly actually touched it, and then he touched it once the whistle blew. But it doesn't.
My question was, did Winslow touch it when he was falling down?
No, I don't think so. And then Utah Az says it always cuts off for me after like 2 minutes. Didn't realize I could hear the press conference after game by just watching League Pass. Okay, yeah, I didn't know that either. I don't have League Pass. And then Utah Az also said Tony Brothers needs to be done. He when he refs our games, I think he's got something against us.
Ref crew, bro. Terrible ref crew.
Well, and it was interesting after because Jordan Clarkson went up to one of them and put his hand on his shoulder as if to say like good job. So maybe it was just two of them. But I don't know. I didn't pay that close attention to who was making the call. So, Calvin, let me get you on. You are now accepted, and go ahead. Drop some knowledge, bro.
Oh, I did. It muted on me. There were so many issues in this game. One of them, we don't have like a conventional starting lineup where there's all of these go-to people. So when our bench struggles, we're going to struggle as a team. And the bench was terrible today. The obviously, you know, just from the net rating, you can see that no offense was able to get going. So, I mean, that's pretty much the story. I mean, we can try to kind of like plan it on individual things, but it's still like multiple things and issues that kind of happen. We got good shots. They weren't falling. Beasley, when Beasley and Jordan Clarkson and Sexton were on the floor together, that's a recipe for disaster, especially from teams that are more perimeter oriented. And Jerami Grant and Simons exposed that every chance they could to.
Terrible lineup.
I mean, it was just it's terrible. I don't really have a big problem with the Hardy timeout situation because I think as you will kind of watch the NBA over the last several years, coaches have gone away. That used to be kind of like the old school method, is like use your timeouts, all of them, et cetera, where now you have a lot of coaches that don't want to give teams the chance to set, or they want to trust their teams more. So I don't really have a huge issue with that. I don't think it would have changed the game too much because at the end of the day, we're a sloppy team and we were sloppy at the end of the game. Yeah. Like they said, Portland didn't score for like the last few minutes of the game, and we didn't take advantage of that. And we just kept giving the ball back. And I know sometimes we can hang our heads, you know, and talk about the refereeing. I don't know if I feel like I really don't talk about refereeing that much. Maybe it's because we don't have a star on our team, but the refereeing is horrible. But overall, I mean, it was a winnable game in different scenarios, but there's just a lot of things that we weren't doing right. And we just frankly lost the game. It can't be pinned on any individual thing, but we're not going to win games if our bench plays like that. We're just not.
Yeah, I think as far as the timeout goes too, I mean, even after that, we turned the ball over, I think, 3 straight times after the backcourt violation. So, you know, like we did things wrong. And even if our offense isn't going, I feel like the big thing with this team is we're unable to lock down on defense when we really need to stop. Like I always feel nervous or like some type of anxiety, like, man, we're going to have to get lucky, or because even if we like the one play where Sexton was on Jerami Grant, he gets the shot, misses the shot. Even if you play good defense, then we don't get the rebound.
Right. I think that we had a great 3-minute stretch of defense within the fourth quarter. And then I can't remember the exact play where Portland had got bailed out with a foul. But they got bailed out with a foul, and they went up 2 on us, and then that just took over the game.
So I wanted to mention, hit on Calvin with the starting lineup too, because I feel like the simple solution to that is start Kessler over Olynyk or Vanderbilt, and here's why: because if you start Kessler, he doesn't even have to get more minutes than those two. If you start Kessler, it makes your rotation better with the second units, because when Kessler comes in with the second units, he might get in on the other opposing center for a few minutes, but then it becomes a mismatch because he's either too small and he gets pulled out and the other team goes small ball, and then it becomes a mismatch. Whereas if you started him, he matches up better with the big, and then bring Olynyk in, and Olynyk can play small ball with the second unit more. And I really feel that is one of the problems. And you kind of saw that in the Indiana Pacer game last night when Kelly was in foul trouble and Kessler got more minutes. Like maybe Kessler doesn't get the rebounds, but he affects the shots. And offensively, I feel he spaces the floor differently. So,
can I talk about that a little bit? Because
let me get to Utah Az real quick. He just requested, and then
I just want to talk about the Kessler rebounding thing.
Yeah. Go ahead, and then I'll let him go.
Okay, so I would say I agree with everything you say, but right now, but like 3-4 games ago, I wouldn't. But like, I'm a big Kessler not fan. Well, I'm a fan. I just like to heckle him because you're like have a love crush on him. But these last 3 games, I have been so impressed with how he's changed his game. He is not trying to block every single person that comes into the paint. He is playing so much smarter, and he has doubled. If you look at his stats these last 3 games, his rebounds per minute has gone up almost 2.5 in the last 3 games. And you can tell because he's staying home at defense. He's picking his spots for his defense. So if this is a change that he's making permanent, like he needs to be playing 25 to 30 minutes a game because we need that rebounding so bad. It's like ever since they brought in Donk, he just realized like, oh, I can't rebound. That's why they're bringing Donk in. If I want his minutes,
But Donk.
I need to get his rebound. So like I 100% agree with that. Like if he's going to continue to rebound like he has the last 3 games, we have to get him those 25 to 30 minutes a game.
Yeah,
because we need that damn rebounding.
And I probably am the highest. The player I'm highest on is Walker Kessler because I see the potential. I don't think he's polished or perfect, and he still makes plenty of mistakes. But there's something when he's in the game, even with rebounding, if he doesn't get it, the other team feels that they need to box him out, which allows other guys to either get an easier rebound or 2 guys go to Kessler. So as far as like him jumping for every block too, he jumps way too much. And if he can learn kind of what Rudy did to just stay down and almost just try to affect this shot instead of blocking it. But I mean, the dude leads the league. I think he's 9th in blocks. He had 3 again tonight. So my whole thing with Kessler is if you start him, his confidence goes up, but I just think he needs more time to learn. He learns so quickly that if he gets more minutes, like he could be a really, really good player by the end of the year.
To be honest with you, coming into the draft, I looked at him and I said, this is the top prospect just off of his defensive ability. And to be honest with you, in the spurts of time that he gets to play, he plays damn near all NBA level as a rim protector. Just as a rim protector. I'm not talking about defensive rebounding because he needs to get better at that. But as a rim protector, he plays damn near close to all NBA defense.
Well, yeah, and he scored. So there's another stat. It took Rudy Gobert like 105 games to score 20 points. It took Kessler 24. So if you can make him a double guy every night, a 20 and 10, yeah, and I also saw in another article he's, I believe, in the top
20 and 10. I'll take 12 and 10. 12 and 10. I feel like
all
the difference in the world.
12 and a half and 10, dude.
I honestly think that if Walker was to play around 24 minutes a game, personally, I feel like he'll be averaging about 16 to 10.
Yeah, and
it could be on 8 level.
I feel like that wins us. What? How many games have we lost?
I feel like that. I feel like there's a couple of games that if Walker was in the game, we would have definitely won that game.
Yeah, I felt like that tonight.
We honestly should not be 14 and 12. I feel like we should be just around 17 and 17 and 9.
Yeah.
Just
now
18 and 8. I think we there's way too many games where we lost the game because there wasn't a rim protector there at the end of the game.
Yeah, and to give them a little bit of credit, that they are young. It's the first year together. They've had the craziest schedule. They've played the most games out of any team. This was our 7th back-to-back. This was the first back-to-back that we haven't had to travel. and we're only 25 games in. We're like a quarter of the way through. So, and we've already played half of our back-to-backs. So yeah, I mean, I think this team is better than we realize, but let me pass it over to Utah Az, because he's been waiting a while. So I'm sure he has way more insightful stuff to say than us. Go ahead, man. If you're still there.
Okay. So the audio cut out when you guys were reading the replies about the backcourt. I just wanted to know what your thoughts were, because I thought, like, if it was a backcourt, if they truly thought it was, they would have challenged it, because the Jazz never used their challenge in the game. So I just wanted to know what your thoughts were, because also it cut out for me.
Yeah, I mean, it could have been another one the refs missed, but ultimately, like I said, even with that backcourt, the next like 3 possessions, we turned the ball over. So it was like a huge play where we didn't call a timeout, a big, we didn't score after that behind the not behind the backcourt. So yeah, that was kind of my thoughts. I don't know about everyone else's thoughts.
Well, I felt like speaking on your the 3 turnover situation, I did feel like Nurk had fouled Lauri on that drive.
Me too. Especially
I
since
understand why the refs wouldn't call that, but then the next possession over, they call a fucking foul.
Yeah, but Clarkson had the same foul called on him on Simons like at half court. So that's the tough thing. It's like it's literally the same play. They call it for them and not for us.
The refs have it up for the Jazz.
Getting away with pushing all night long.
Nurk played dirty the entire game, I'll be honest.
Yeah, on every defensive rebound, he pushed the player that was boxing him out. It was crazy.
Nurk seems like one of those guys when you'd be practicing and you're on his team that he would just be pinching you the whole time just to get under your skin.
Yeah, he just throws his body around the entire game. It's cool sometimes, but at other times it gets nasty.
And I just have one comment on the Kessler thing. I'm not as high as you are, but probably I've been pretty high on him. I think he should be in the starting lineup for rim protection and kind of helping with the penetrating guards from the starters, not the bench players. But I'm not. I don't want Olynyk out of that starting lineup. Definitely over Vanderbilt because I kind of feel like. I feel next to Mike Conley, Kelly Olynyk is. I mean, look at his stats today: 15, 9, and 6. I mean, he's a glue guy on both ends of the floor. I think he definitely belongs in that starting lineup. And the thing about it, if Kelly Olynyk does not have to guard, because usually what happens is Jared Vanderbilt is guarding the best perimeter defender, regardless of who they are. So that ends up making Olynyk have to guard the 5 to free up Markkanen. If you have Kessler out there, Olynyk is now not having to guard that person, and his defense becomes a lot better because he gets a lot of steals, etc. Because he's just a slick player when it comes to playing defensively. So that frees up Olynyk to be even better on both ends of the floor than he already is if you have Kessler on the floor. Jared Vanderbilt, he reminds me of a taller Royce O'Neal. There's some matchups that he's good and great for, and then there's just some that he's just not. And I think sometimes he's put in situations where he's just not going to do any good for us.
Yeah, and I'm fine with Olynyk or Vanderbilt. I just think Kessler should start. But how crazy is it that Vando went 100% from the 3-point line out of?
I was just about to get ready to say something. About
4 for 4.
I personally like the development that he's going through over the last 5 games, where he's becoming a little bit more aggressive on offense.
Well, and it seems like it built his confidence. He had one play where he dribbled, did a spin move, and then one of the players came off to help him, one of the defenders, and then he dumped it off to, I believe, Kessler. And I was like, I didn't even know that he could do that. Like, what? Where's that been?
That he doesn't.
I feel like he doesn't have the confidence.
I feel like he doesn't has the confidence, but I don't know. It's just weird. It's weird. I feel like
he's a weird player.
I feel like there's a lot of things that's untapped about him, but he just won't. I don't think he's one of those people who will ever really unlock it. But he's only 23.
Yes.
I wonder if he's frustrated with his ineffectiveness on defense and it's messing with his head. Like, I wonder
Possibly.
if he's like, I know I'm a good defender, or he believes he's a good defender, and he's just not pulling it. He's not, and so he's putting all his energy into being this defender he wants to be, or everyone else wants him to be. He's just not getting it done on offense.
I feel like him and Colin Sexton are the same people on two different sides of the
Of the spectrum.
I swear to you, I swear to you, because if Sexton loses his, if Sexton doesn't play good on offense, shit goes haywire on defense. He starts fouling, he starts just crashing out. It just gets crazy. Same thing.
Yeah, Vando just becomes a ghost and disappears. I guess that leads into a good next question for you guys, and really anybody can answer. It seems like on Twitter as well, like people want Kessler to play more, either start or just get more minutes. But do you guys see coach ever changing the starting lineup? Like, or is it just feels set?
I feel like the entire coaching staff has to come to an agreement. The rest of the coaching staff has to push him to do it.
And then
I feel like for him to get there,
or maybe even JC. I don't want to be the one to say that, but maybe JC has to say something like that. But I feel like there's a situation where just how he likes to say that they like to focus on matchups. Why is there a situation where you're not flip-flopping between both of those two on who's starting and who's going to get 24 minutes versus who's going to get 20 minutes?
I think they also treat rookies differently. You know, rookies, I feel like, especially when they come into a decent team, they have to work twice as hard. So he might recognize that maybe he might be ready to start, but he's a rookie, and, you know, the kind of staff and the team is going to kind of treat him as such. I mean, he's got to work his way up to getting to that. I mean,
I just don't think it's going to happen until Mike gets back, because I think coach, for right or wrong, is sold that Olynyk is his best facilitator without Mike in there, and that
I would say that's true,
and that Vanderbilt is his best defender out there. And so to put put Kessler in there, he's got to sit one of the two of them. And I just think in his mind, he's got to be thinking, who do I sit? My best facilitator or my best defender to give Kessler a chance to start? And I just don't think he can come to terms with that. I think he's got to realize that Vando is not as good of a defender as he thinks he is, and Vando needs to come off the bench, because I think Olynyk has to stay in the starting lineup, in my opinion.
I like that ideal because it would make sense at a point where if Mike Conley comes back, that Walker comes in and takes out Vanderbilt's spot, because then that would be a confluent lineup. It would make sense. Conley, JC, Lauri, Kelly, and then Walker.
Yeah, I feel like Mike would be so much better at getting Kessler the ball as well.
Because Vando doesn't play great with the starters. I'll be honest with you. For the most part, he doesn't really gel with them.
Like he disappears sometimes.
Yeah, and nor does Sexton. So I feel like if you was to do that flip flop between when Mike Conley comes back, between Mike Conley and Walker coming in as the starters, and Colin and JV coming off, and JV could be a small ball five. So the team, I feel like the team will be able to function at a higher level. And I don't know. I think there's a lot of untapped potential on the team if we just switch a couple of rotations, a couple of lineups. I think there's a lot of things that can go a little bit more.
And I love that, because that second unit, you send them in the game and you say, just run. Don't worry about running sets. Don't worry about running a set. Don't worry about setting the offense. Just run. Run them to death. Mm-hmm. And when you get tired, I'll put the starters back in and we'll start running sets again. Like, it just changes the whole entire dynamic of the game.
There's one other thing I want to point out. I know everybody's not really a big fan, but last year the number one duo in the entire NBA was Rudy and Rudy on the floor together. The number 3 duo in the entire NBA.
Wait, Rudy Gay and Rudy Gobert?
Yes.
Yeah, it was.
Whoa.
This year, number 3 is when Rudy Gay and Kessler are on the floor together.
I thought that.
True.
What is it? The net rating or what are the stats that they're tracking?
It's net rating. It's net rating when they're both on the floor together.
Yeah, Rudy. I'll be honest with you. As much as we don't love Rudy, as much as we don't love Rudy does not do shit bad. It's just that he doesn't do anything too much good.
That stands out. Yeah,
that's really the problem.
He's just
effective at a smart
mid
player.
He's mid.
He's just so smart. He knows how to play with a rim
exactly
behind him, and he plays so smart.
Right there. That's literally
what I feel.
Well, I guess we're missing Rudy and Mike then. So this leads to my next point. They just flashed. I'm watching the rerun, but the Jazz are the only team that has 11 wins against 500 teams. The next closest is the Dallas Mavericks with 9 and the Phoenix Suns with 9. So when Mike comes back, because I feel like it's going to be pretty soon. I know we were saying Christmas, but I think it's going to be sooner than that. And me and Dallin kind of went back and forth a little bit on this. Does Colin Sexton stay in the starting lineup, or is it just automatically Mike is starter?
Absolutely not.
Mike all the way.
I mean, but I don't think the rest of the players have too much chemistry with Colin. I think because some of the other players that he's playing with in the starting lineup, it alleviates him, and he's able to get out on the fast break sometimes, or just run down and get these these foul calls. It works out for him, but I don't think he really fits with the starting lineup at all.
Hear me out on this.
I don't really think he fits with majority of the team.
Hear me out. This is my thought process. And my thought is possibly leave Sexton as a starter. One, I think he just performs better as a starter because he's so in his head that, like, if he's not starting, he's failing or something. So I'm not even saying get more minutes. Like, leave Sexton in as a starter, and if he's having a good game, let it roll. And then Conley comes in with the second unit, and our second unit becomes stronger. Or if Sexton's having a bad game, just Mike comes in immediately.
Yeah, I don't like
Conley on the floor with Kessler. That would have to see. That would mean that we have to still give Colin Sexton 30 minutes as opposed to giving Mike Conley 30 minutes, and that makes absolutely no sense.
No, you only give Sexton 10. Start him and give him 10.
No, I like your idea of telling them to just run with the second unit, or Kevin said that.
Yeah, I really like Sexton and Clarkson together just running like crazy bulls.
You leave Clarkson in a little longer, and he plays with the second unit.
Yeah, just let it, just chaos, pure chaos, man.
Yeah. I'm gonna see if I can bring it up again, but the one thing that's going against conventional logic or whatever is that we had issues with Mike and Donovan last year playing together on the floor.
Yeah.
The Colin Sexton and Mike Conley minutes have been dynamite this year.
In what way? Net rating or?
I mean, just results driven. Like if you
it works.
Yeah, it's working. I know that they were somebody pointed that out earlier this year, and I kind of dug into it. Like, for some reason, I mean, Colin Sexton's defense is obviously better on ball than Donovan Mitchell was for us previously, and Mike has always been steady. And I think Colin Sexton playing with Mike probably makes him more cerebral. Perhaps, I don't know.
Because Mike Conley is setting a lot of the things up, and the only time that Sexton really gets to explode and try to do kind of the things that he tried to do is offer the dribble handoffs and then on fast breaks when he's on the court with Mike Conley. So it just makes him way more of an efficient player, and he has to make quicker decisions.
So Lauri
and Sexton will actually listen to Mike. Don never listened to Mike.
Oh, right.
Yeah. So Lauri Markkanen was on JJ Redick's podcast a few days ago. If you haven't listened to it, go listen to it. It's pretty good. Lauri's not the greatest person to interview, but there's a few funny stories with him asking Calabrini if he could wear his number when he went to Chicago. But anyways, my point was they asked him a question on the podcast: is Mike Conley the nicest player you've ever played with? And he's like, yeah. And he says everybody we ask that has played with Mike Conley says that. But it's crazy, like, because professional sports a lot of times seem so cutthroat and you need like a killer mentality. And Mike Conley is opposite from that, but he does so much for this team and calms so many players down. Like you guys were saying, a Colin Sexton who's just sometimes out of control, just his presence on the court can calm him down. What is it with Mike Conley that we're missing so bad right now?
Poise and decision making.
Coach, a second coach, a coach with experience.
His passing.
His passing also, yes. Very much his passing.
Playmaking.
Decision making.
So when he comes back,
it's basically just like it's just the maturity.
Yeah, he's a veteran point guard. He's a real veteran point guard. That's really what it is.
He's a member of the coaching staff who gets to play on the floor.
Yeah, basically.
when he comes back, does that put us in the top 4? And if it does put us in the top 4, are we winning a playoff series this year?
You mean top 4 seed?
Top 4 in the West.
Absolutely.
I believe we'll be a.
I think we're all.
See,
afraid
I
to
think
say
we're in a situation
We're all
where,
afraid. Who said that? Was that you, Down?
I think if Conley comes back and everything goes correctly, we'll be between the 10 and 6 seed. I don't know where we're 4, but I think we'll be between the 10 and the 6. I don't think 4 is too much. 4 is just pushing it.
So
currently, I think we'll be lucky to win one game in the first round.
So currently, as the standings sit, as this podcast is recording, we are in the 8th spot in the West, tied with Golden State and the Clippers. Golden State's in the 6th spot, Clippers in the 7th. If we were in the 4th spot, we are 1 game out of the 4th spot right now. So had we won this game, we would only be half a game out of the 4th spot. And then out of the number 1 seed, we're 3 games behind the Phoenix Suns. So to me, I feel like we're coming so close to these games. A lot of our losses aren't blowouts, and they're little mistakes. I feel like each game we're progressing and getting better at making corrections. And then once Mike Conley's back, to me, I feel like we're going to be a top 4 seed. And I won't be scared to say that because I'm the fanboy here.
So here's my pushback on that. Right. So you just pulled out the stat that we won 11 games against plus 500 teams. If you pull those 11 teams that we beat and you pull their best 3 lineups, only 4 of those teams did we play those lineups. 7 of those other teams were missing multiple starters when we played them.
Yeah, but I mean that's a good point because
but we were also missing.
We're also missing.
Yeah, I would say to me it's just we won.
Who are we missing? Markkanen hasn't missed a game.
No. See, Conley missed a couple games, or he missed 1 or 2 games early in
Rudy
the season.
Gay.
Jerry Vanderbilt, he had missed about 3 games early in the season.
Yeah, Rudy Gay.
The
most effective with Rudy
Walker Kessler missed about 3 or 4 games early in the season.
But you guys, I mean, we're talking like Chris Paul level players, like Steph Curry.
I don't
all-star players. We're not really talking like fringe all-star players like Mike Conley.
Yeah, but I think as this team being so young and being so new with each other, I don't care about who's out. We just figured out how to win. And I know a lot of people say, well, they were close games, but those are the hardest games to win. Like, as we're seeing right now, we messed up. So to me, I think it's just more impressive that this team's figuring out how to win.
Full strength versus our full strength. We still win those 11 games.
No, I'm not saying that.
What 11? Do you think we go 500? Because I don't even think we go 500.
No, I'm saying we're 3 games behind the number 1 seed.
But
I'm saying we win at least 2 more games that we have lost. So we're right in the. I'm saying we're top 4.
The point I'm trying to make is you're going based off of current stuff. And I'm just saying, like, I think our record is a little bloated versus where we would perform in the playoffs.
I don't because we've played so many games. Yeah, we played so many games. We've played so many back-to-backs, probably the most in the entire league. We're missing Mike Conley. We're a young team. To me, it's, we've lost 12 games.
And then you got to think about the games that we've lost is that 8 out of the 9 games that we've lost, the last 9 games have all been in the clutch. So those are winnable games too. And every team has injuries. So I don't think that excuse could really kind of, be used.
But we've only won 3 out of 6 against teams under 500.
Yeah, but Kevin, if you do it, look, I'm saying
it's crazy right now.
I'm saying we're gonna finish top 4.
I think about 3 of those games that we had lost, that 3 or 6, were controlled by the refs. So I can't.
Do you? Okay, here's a better question. Do you think
played the Spurs yet, or we played the Rockets twice?
And we lost to the Rockets.
6 games against those,
which was a foul. Which was one of those games that the refs controlled.
And they're back to back.
Houston game. Yeah,
back to backs are always hard to win against the same team.
Here's a better question, Kevin. If we had Mike Conley not injured, because really what I'm trying to get down to is, with Mike Conley, are we a top 4 team? All we have to do is win one more game with Mike Conley. Do you not think that we can win 1 or 2 more games that we've lost?
With Mike Conley, I think we're a playoff team. I just don't think we're a top 4 team, is all I'm trying to say. Like, I think we're a playoff team. I just don't think we're top 4 in the West. I don't think we're better than Golden State. I don't think we're better than why is my mind going?
You got Phoenix Suns, Denver Nuggets, New Orleans Pelicans, the Memphis Grizzlies.
I don't think the Pelicans are as good as
I don't think the Grizzlies or Kings are.
Two worries.
Oh, I think the Grizz are amazing.
No, I don't think so.
Wow.
I will say, but Jaren Jackson has not been playing either. So
no, he's been playing now. He's is he back? He's on my fantasy.
Oh yeah, he's back. He's back.
See, I purposely asked this question to stir the pot up and create a good discussion, because I feel like we're right on that borderline of being a top 4 seed or top 4 in the West, but we're also where we're in the playing for the play-in game.
Well, if I'm looking at the Western Conference, I think there's a couple teams that we are as good or better than. I feel like New Orleans is one of those teams that we're kind of like as good as. I know on paper it looks cute, but the way that they play, they're okay. Yeah. They're just as good as us.
That's a good exercise. Let's do that. We're gonna go through the West, and you guys just say, are we better than them or no? Phoenix Suns.
No.
Okay, unanimous. Denver Nuggets.
No.
See, I feel like the Denver Nuggets are what we were last year. New Orleans Pelicans.
Maybe. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Memphis Grizzlies.
No.
Who says no?
I said yes.
No way.
I say no, because when they have Bane healthy,
I say yes.
When Bane is healthy and Morant's shot is on, man, they'll run us out.
That's a title contending talent. The talent of a roster.
Yeah, I'm gonna say no as well, just because they're so defensively. Like, if you catch them in the playoffs defensively,
that defense is crazy.
Sacramento Kings.
yes.
Yeah, maybe.
I go yes on Kings.
That's the most anticipated game of the year for me, because I watched them last night.
He's ready to light it.
That's a good team.
Yeah, I think they're hot right now. Sabonis
is playing out of his mind right
now. I'll be honest with you. I really do feel like that we're just as equal to Sacramento.
Okay.
I don't think they're really that.
Golden.
I think we're right up there with Phoenix. A 7-game series with them could go either way. I wouldn't know.
They're 12-5 since their start.
Because every time they're playing good balls, it's been down to the last.
That'd be a fun playoff matchup if we matched up with the Kings in the first round.
And the actual arena atmospheres.
Yeah.
It would come down to home court advantage, I think, with them.
That'd be way fun. Golden State Warriors.
No way.
Yeah, I think you can't ever be better than the defending champs. Clippers.
Equal, depending on equal or no. It just
It depends on if Kawhi's healthy.
Equal or better.
If Kawhi and George are healthy,
whoa! Who said equal or better? No, I need to hear the better part.
Paul George is a fraud.
No, I feel like a lot of that, like Kevin said, is Kawhi. Like, I don't know if he's ever going to get back to what he was.
That's the thing. I don't know about Kawhi.
Yeah, and I don't think anybody does.
I think they're just playing extra.
I think we are at full strength.
All right, well then I'll personally say equal.
All right, so tonight the Blazers, if Dame's healthy, are we are better or worse than the Blazers?
Full strength.
Yes. I'm saying yes.
You think full strength? I think it's same.
I mean,
not with Dame.
We beat him with Dame.
I think it's very close.
We beat him with Dame and Mike Conley went out.
I think it's equal. I think it's equal
in Portland.
Yeah, I think it's very close, and we match up really well.
I go equal.
I would just say if you get in a playoff series with Dame, though, he's not losing.
He has not been that clutch player in a very long time.
It's been a minute.
That's true.
It's been a minute.
Dame time in the whole game.
Dame time is sleep time right now.
Yeah, that's just because Weaver.
Somebody snoozed
he's been
the Dame
injured.
time.
He's been injured. We do have to give him that grace. He's been injured.
Snooze. I'm not saying it won't come back, but it's been snooze for a while.
I'm just fanboying because he's from Weaver State up the street here. So
yeah.
Mavericks.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No way.
Yes.
They're a hot
Mavericks are similar to what you.
Nah, we're a better roster. It's just Luka.
Yeah, Luka's so good. Luka's like MVP, but they don't have enough around Luka.
They don't have Brunson.
Dude, Luka beat our team, our better team last year on one leg.
No, Jalen Brunson beat us because we couldn't figure out the little guy.
Yeah. Jalen Brunson, he's a problem for anybody. But yeah, I think we're better.
The game that we lost this year to Dallas, fouls, refs, crazy. I don't remember how many free throw shots that Luka had shot. It was crazy. The game was getting sick.
But that's the Luka effect. That's why we can't beat him. He's going to be and in the playoffs, he's going to shoot 40 free throws.
Okay, so are we talking about who's a better team? So are we talking about who's a better team, or are we talking about?
I think we're better than the Mavericks.
Like I don't think we beat them in a 7-game series ever. So I think they're a better team.
I think there's a possibility. I think
Yeah,
I don't think we beat them in a 7-game series, so I think they're better. That's all. That's what I'm saying.
I feel like it's a.
I
think we're better if Luka wasn't there. I think it's equal with Luka there. I'll be honest with you personally.
I'll give you the real reason why we're better.
I want to say no.
And that is because
I want to say we're better.
We have a bench.
No, hear me out. Hear me out, guys. Hear me out. The reason we are better than the Dallas Mavericks is Jason Kidd.
Yeah. Wait a minute, he got them. Titles their first year. Like what?
The reason we're not is we're always playing 6-on-5 when we play against Luka.
Okay, this is
anybody 6-on-5.
This is a good one because this team's been on a little bit of a streak. They're 7-3 in the last 10 games. The LA Lakers.
No.
Yeah.
No, they in it. I don't care. I've been watching them. They are a different team. They're healthy. They're different.
They're healthy now, but they won't be healthy in a month and a half.
Well, I mean, the thing about it is that they've gotten bringing back Schroeder has given them more depth. They've given Austin Reeves is playing minutes with LeBron James. He's super efficient. Like they blew out Portland. Like was it last night or the night before? They're 7-2. Their last 9.
Okay. Yeah. Wait.
But wait. They went like 14 for 18 going into the playoffs last year and couldn't get out of the first and couldn't get into the freaking playoffs.
Hey, I will Lakers money. I'm not a Lakers fan.
You must believe that the Lakers are better than a couple of the teams that we're talking about that we're equal to then.
They are. I mean, they just beat Milwaukee. Like they are putting stuff together, man. They putting stuff together like they are.
So honestly, with all due respect, you think a roster like that is going to beat majority of the teams in the 7-game series when they can't fucking shoot.
Here's my thing with the Lakers.
Who can't shoot? Who have you looked at their?
The Lakers.
Wait a minute. Have your crazy? Wait. Hold on, please. Over the last 10 games, they have the third best net rating in the entire league.
But they just waived the guy that turned their season around.
But I'm saying I'm saying in a playoff series where teams are scouting every move, everybody knows exactly what you're going to do. They're going to force you to do exactly what they don't want you to do. I mean, they're going to force you to do exactly what they want you to do.
No.
You have to beat them. You would have to beat them from the 3-point line.
You know what's scary about the Lakers now? This is what's scary about the Lakers now.
They're playing LeBron at the 4 now. Like they're
that's how it's supposed to be.
Yeah, but that's not how they've been doing it. That's not how they've been doing it.
The scary thing is Westbrook is starting to get going.
Westbrook has embraced being in a 6-man role, so now you've got decent players coming off. Like I'm telling you.
Let me ask you a question. Are you worried about Austin Reeves in the playoff series?
No.
Have you
Are you worried about
Austin Reeves is averaging 20 points a game?
I'm asking you.
Yeah, but in the playoffs,
series, are you worried about Austin Reeves?
To be honest with you, when it comes down to the playoffs, who's going to stop Anthony Davis and LeBron James?
No, just
Anthony Davis is going to stop Anthony Davis.
I am not a Lakers fan. I hate LeBron James.
I get Austin. I get AD and LeBron and Westbrook. Cool. The rest of the roster, who you care? Who do you feel like can actually help you in a playoff series?
Let me answer this.
Hold on. That's what's scary about the Lakers right now. 2 weeks ago, the Lakers were trash. Now they are one effing trade away from being an NBA champion favorite.
Like Mike Conley.
That's what's scary about them. They have these 2 picks that everybody wants, and they literally move those picks, and they are going to move themselves right to the front the way they're playing right now.
Would you trade Mike Conley right now for the 2 picks?
Oh, hell yes.
No. Wait.
If you trade Mike Conley, you basically you got to think Lakers are going to win the championship. But is that worth the 2 picks?
I'd give them Mike and Beasley for the 2 picks. I'd throw Clarkson in there too.
I don't think that
we're going to get their 2 picks that are what, 30th if they're going to win?
No, they're 25.
No. That's 2027.
I don't know what their picks are.
That's 2027, 2029.
No, they're 25 and 27.
Here's my thing with the Lakers. I think they're a big question mark right now. They've turned it around, but you've got to be scared because they've just won. They've got LeBron, they've got AD, they've got Westbrook.
And don't forget Schroeder.
And Schroeder.
What he can do.
David Locke said on his podcast this crazy stat. So their half-court defense is number 1 in the league, but their transition defense is 30th in the league.
Whoa.
Nuts.
Yeah.
Because they're so old and slow.
Struggled against Sacramento.
Because they all should be in a nursing home.
And the Jazz are 29th.
But
yeah,
in
exactly.
the playoffs, it does slow down. So.
All right. Well, we've been going for quite a while. This is extremely fun for me because I just love talking about basketball, and I could probably talk forever and my wife would go insane. So I'm really glad that you guys are on here every night, and we get a little bit of a break before we play the Warriors. I believe it's Wednesday. So
I'm not looking forward to that.
Yeah, recoup, and that'll be another big test for us.
Mike's first game back.
When do we play the Kings? Does anybody know?
Not in the next 7 games because I think they're going on the road.
Is it in December though?
I'm not sure.
Okay. We're looking it up right now.
Because I'm looking forward to that game.
Yeah,
too.
I'm looking at it. Yeah, I'm looking
12:30. 12:30.
I might be going to the Cleveland game against
December
Utah
30th.
Well,
Are you gonna boo Donovan Mitchell?
Yes.
I never liked Donovan Mitchell, so
I think Donovan's going to get booed hard. Well, I'm calling it a night. If you watched the game tonight, you saw the Finland fans get on the TV more than anyone I've ever seen get on as a fan. We appreciate you if you're listening from Finland. And, you know, if we give Lauri Markkanen a hard time, we really love him, but he needs to become a killer. Like, let's
He needs
just
to
be
get that
honest.
mojo.
Yeah, he just needs to take over and know that he's the man. Yeah. So good game. Wish we would have won. Didn't go our way. And we'll see you guys again Wednesday.
Thank you.
Peace out. Go Jazz. We're still recording, man.